Every gardener dreams of soil that is rich, dark, and teeming with life. The kind of soil that smells like the forest after rain and seems to grow anything you place in it. Most people believe the only way to get there is through compost, the slow, steady process of breaking down organic matter until it becomes humus. But here's the twist. There's a simple grocery scrap that can trigger microbial activity in your soil faster than even a well-managed compost pile. It's not expensive, it's not rare, and chances are you've thrown it in the trash or the bin countless times. Today, we're uncovering why this single scrap, whether it's cabbage, melon rinds, or an overripe banana, can unleash a microbial frenzy underground that compost alone takes weeks or months to achieve. Think about your compost pile for a moment. It's a slow burn. Layer greens and browns, wait for the right moisture, aerate when needed, and in a few months you're rewarded with rich, dark humus. But what if you could jumpstart that microbial process instantly, right where your plants need it most, directly in the soil? That's what happens when you bury certain grocery scraps. Unlike finished compost, which is already stable, these scraps are packed with sugars, soft tissues, and easily digestible compounds that microbes swarm to the moment decomposition begins. In less than a day, a piece of cabbage or a sweet banana peel can set off a chain reaction that spreads through your soil like a wildfire of life. This is the lazy gardener's secret. Instead of waiting on a pile, you can drop the right scraps directly into the soil and let nature go to work. Microbes are everywhere in your soil, waiting for food. What determines how quickly they multiply is the type of food available. Compost is valuable, but by the time organic matter is fully broken down, much of the easily available sugar and starch is gone. What's left is stable, long-lasting carbon, excellent for soil structure but not a fast food source. In contrast, fresh grocery scraps are kind of like a microbial buffet. Cabbage leaves, as they wilt and break down, release simple sugars that end up feeding both bacteria and fungi. Melon rinds, well, they ooze water and sweetness that microbes just thrive on, creating this moist zone that worms and other soil dwellers really can't resist. And overripe bananas? They're loaded with natural sugars, potassium, and soft fibers that almost, melt right into the soil. These foods don't just feed microbes, they actually ignite their population growth. When microbes explode in number, they start releasing enzymes, breaking down soil particles, freeing trapped nutrients, and creating the very conditions that allow worms to return. That's why scraps in the right place can outcompete compost for sheer speed. So cabbage is often overlooked because, well, it seems kind of plain compared to other scraps, but honestly, it's one of the most effective soil stimulants you can bury. As cabbage leaves rot, they create these sulfur compounds that attract specific bacterial groups, the ones known for breaking down tough organic matter. These microbes, in turn, really pave the way for fungi and worms to move in. In tests, burying cabbage leaves in compacted soil showed visible microbial growth within just a few days. White fungal strands, worm activity, and rapid softening of the surrounding dirt. The trick with cabbage is to chop or tear it before burying, so microbes have more surface area to colonize. Melon rinds, whether it's watermelon, cantaloupe, or honeydew, bring something different to the table. Moisture and sugars all in one package. They act like a sponge underground, holding water while feeding bacteria. If your soil is dry, worms are drawn to melon scraps almost instantly because they provide both hydration and food. Bananas, especially when overripe, are perhaps the most famous worm attractant, and for good reason. Their mushy texture makes them easy for microbes to invade, and their high potassium content enriches the soil in ways compost sometimes cannot. Potassium is critical for flowering and fruiting plants, so burying a banana near tomatoes, peppers, or squash not only feeds the soil life but also directly boosts plant performance. Microbes swarm bananas within hours of burial. Fermentation begins quickly, releasing a sweet scent underground that pulls in worms. The secret lies not just in what scrap you use, but really in how you apply it. If you simply toss scraps on the surface, you're just inviting pests, and honestly, they dry out before the microbes can even get to work. The trick here is to bury them shallowly, just a few inches under the soil or hey, even beneath a mulch layer. This way they stay moist, hidden from pests, and in direct contact with those all-important soil microbes. Compost is still without a doubt the backbone of soil health, but when it comes to speed and microbial explosions, grocery scraps like cabbage, melon rinds, or overripe bananas are really unmatched. They provide that quick energy soil life craves, creating little hotspots that spread vitality all throughout your garden. For the lazy gardener, this method is not only easier, but honestly, it's more effective in reawakening dead soil. So, next time you're about to throw out cabbage leaves, melon rinds, or bananas that are just too soft to eat, don't send them to the bin. Send them to your soil. You'll be feeding an underground army that works faster and harder than any compost pile ever could. If this secret opened your eyes to a new way of building soil life, make sure you subscribe to Soil and Plant Doctor for more practical gardening wisdom. Share this with fellow gardeners who struggle with lifeless soil, and show them how scraps can bring their soil roaring back to life. Together, we can return fertility to our gardens, one simple kitchen scrap at a time.